The time is 11:35 on this beautiful Tuesday morning, and you're tuned into Mid-Morning Talk with me, Fazila Isaac, on Salam Media. Don't forget to engage with us on our social media platforms. Send us a WhatsApp message 061 766 0355. Facebook, www.facebook.com/Salam Media, Twitter @Salam Media, and our online streaming platform, www.salammedia.com. We are now joined by career development practitioner Lindelwe Cili, who's going to give us her professional advice for tertiary entry and career choices as well. Thank you for joining us, Lindelwe.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, and good morning to your listeners as well.
Let's get straight into it. Give us a brief introduction of yourself.
Well, it's always the hardest thing to say when a person says, "Tell me about yourself." But in short, it's Lindelwe. I'm a career development practitioner, very passionate about helping people accomplish their long and short term career development goals. I come from a background of social work. And yeah, in a nutshell, that's me. I look forward to having this engagement with you.
I think it's so important at this part of the year. We have a lot of matriculants leaving school at this point, looking for, well, very much confused actually about what they actually want. And not just them, but those who are graduating from tertiary as well. So there's a lot of people who are going through these certain transitional stages. So, starting with the ones who are going to be completing matric now, when does the journey start to selecting your tertiary education? When does this start?
So the journey starts at a very early age, when you're doing your subject selection from grade 9. That really is where the journey starts. And it's such a very fragile time because these are 14 and 15-year-olds, and we're saying the decision that you make now will have an impact on your career trajectory, or the different opportunities that are going to be available for you at tertiary. So it's very ideal that when students have to select subject, they have parent support so that they understand how can my subject selection broaden my chances at tertiary, or somewhat just have some sort of limitations, but understanding the opportunities that they will have based on their subject selection. So I would definitely say it starts very early, not even in matric, it starts in grade 9.
And what are some of the subject choices that should be made at that point? Because, look, I've seen issues where students come and they go into matric and they've taken such subjects that have zero to do with what they actually want to go into. So, what are some of the best subject choices that will actually give you a wider prospects basically when going into tertiary?
Mm. First and foremost, even before we get there, I think it's very important for us to ascertain and understand the student or the pupil that is selecting the subject. What are their interests? Looking at their favorite subjects, looking at what they're good at, looking at their academic strengths as well, so that you pair that up with the subjects that they need to select. And then you look at opportunities that will derive from those subjects. So ideally, you want to look at the different offerings in different institutions and what are the core subject that they look for. Their major core subject would be your maths, life sciences, or physical sciences. If you have those core subjects, rather, you know that you can easily get into any faculty. I'll make it an example with us. We have 5 faculties, which will be your health sciences, humanities, science, engineering as well, and commerce, right? So out of the 5, the 4 main faculties require you to have maths, physical sciences, or life sciences. So just to begin with, if you have those basic or core subjects, you can transition and just have a broader selection. Alternatively, you need to understand, if I do select mathematical literacy based on my capabilities, what are my opportunities? Which of the different institutions can I get into? So that's very important to understand what my subject selection would allow me in terms of subjects, in terms of opportunities. So I would say, first and foremost, if you can, based on your academic capabilities and strengths, looking at what you like and which subject you believe you'll do well in, try and ensure that you get into your maths, life sciences, and physical sciences, depending on the career trajectory that you're aiming for as well. But also, if you are looking at getting into humanities, you want to be a psychologist, you want to get into social work, then definitely you will not necessarily need to do pure math, but you need to know the limitations to that. You're muted. I can't hear you from my end. Apologies.
Okay, now is it better? Sorry. All right. Yes, so I was asking, you are at Wits University, right? So what are some of the criteria that the university looks for when it goes through the selection process?
So the basic criteria will be ensuring that you meet the minimum requirements. And I've already highlighted this in my previous answer where I said it will be the core subjects. So in various programs, they'll list the requirements of the core subjects that you need to pass. So if it's maths, English, and physical sciences, they'll tell you the level that you need to pass that on. But on top of that, the other one that is used is the APS score, which is the admission point system. So you need to make sure that on top of passing those stipulated subjects, right, as a minimum requirement, you also meet the APS score for that particular program. Other programs will require you to write an NBT test, right? We know that it will be your health sciences, some of the science faculty as well, and some of the humanities programs would require you to write the NBT test, which will count as well as part of the requirements. So it's also understanding what various institutions are looking at when we're talking about minimum requirements, and also understanding that you want to make sure that you achieve more than just the minimum requirements, because the competition is very high.
And we were just speaking about that this morning. You know, competition is fierce when it comes to certain institutions. So, of course, you got to go above and beyond what you think is bare minimum, you know, especially with students now, you know, coming out of matric and going into the next phase. I just want to touch on the APS scores that you spoke about, but we're just going to take a quick ad break. When we come back, we'll continue with that. Stay tuned.
Listen to something fresh. Listen to Salam Media, your humanitarian broadcaster.
Online schooling? Why not? Kurtuba Online Academy is the leading global online Islamic school from grade R to matric, offering South African caps and international syllabus. And it doesn't stop there. We also offer online madrasa for every grade. For more information, visit www.kurtubaonline.co.za. Kurtuba Online Academy, the leading global online Islamic school.
Decades of war, devastating drought, and economic collapse have pushed the Afghan people to the edge of survival. 24 million need life-saving aid, and 5 million children are knocking on famine's door. The world cannot just watch as this terrible crisis unfolds. With your support, the Al-Imdad Foundation is delivering emergency relief to the Afghan people. Donate online at alimdad.com or call 0861 786 243 for more information.
With so many investment options today, it's only natural that you might feel a little confused which route to take. Should I buy shares or should I invest in gold bullion? Randery Jewelers now brings you the Zahab coin, an alternative to the Kruger Rand. The Zahab coin, a solid wealth protector in its purest form of 24-karat gold, is the safest way to protect your wealth. So don't just sit there and watch your paper money depreciate. Change to gold. Call Randery Jewelers now at 031 202 4701 or visit www.rjcoin.co.za, situated at 151 Essenwood Road, Musgrave, Durban. Randery Jewelers, the family name you can trust.
Over 33 million people have been affected by the devastating floods in Pakistan. Homes have been destroyed, crops have been swept away, and roads have been damaged. Families are mourning their loved ones while trying to survive these horrific conditions. Penny Appeal is on the ground now, delivering food, shelter, medical supplies, and water to those in need. You can help save a life by donating today. Visit our website www.pennyappeal.org.za or call 031 1100 573. Penny Appeal South Africa. Small change, big difference.
Salam Media, a global voice for humanity.
Time is 11:45 and you're tuned into the Mid-Morning Talk with me, Fazila Isaac. We are joined by Career Development Practitioner Lindelwe Cili. Lindelwe, we were speaking about the APS scores before we can take that break. What options are available should the APS scores not be adequate enough? What are the other options?
Yes, the focus shouldn't only be on universities. There are other post-matric opportunities that we need to focus on, because realistically, not all of us will land in university. Ideally, that's what we want. We're cognizant of what's available out there. So I would definitely say, if you didn't make it to get a bachelor pass score wasn't that good, you need to look at what other institutions offer. I know that our sister institutions would offer extended programs, first and foremost, right? Where you might have missed the APS score and you did not meet the requirement, but you can get into the extended program, which will just basically mean you will do some sort of a 1-year bridging course. Instead of doing a 3-year qualification, you will do 4 years, which is an extended program. Alternatively, explore other options of TVET colleges. There are TVET colleges which would allow you to get a trade sort of qualification, where it's 18 months of your theory and 18 months of practical work, and you get to even have some sort of a skill outside of that. And if you look at the high unemployment rate, that will lead you into even exploring entrepreneurship, starting your own thing, as opposed to following the normal traditional employment route. So it's really understanding what is available out there, not just only the focus on university. There are private colleges, there are TVET colleges, what can work for you, and what is your career plan more than anything.
Actually, that's so important for people to understand. Just because you're not, some people, they have obviously different levels, right? You have your people who are book smart, and then you have those who they're good with their hands. You have your artisans, you have your entrepreneurs. So obviously, different skill sets. Everybody is quite different. So, what are the most sought after careers that people should actually be looking for?
I say that we need to be very cognizant of the emerging careers right now. And if we look at the changes that COVID really brought, we're moving more in the 4IR. So at this particular point is knowing if you are very book smart, as you've just mentioned, getting into spaces of artificial intelligence, your robotics, your data analyst, your 4IR related careers, you definitely know that you are in the right path. Also, not forgetting the traditional sort of careers, because we know that those yield, they possibly yield stability, financial stability and all of that. But I really think if you want to strategically position yourself as a young individual, really explore the new emerging careers of robotics, 4IR, artificial intelligence. That's the spaces to go right now.
Hmm. And the job market is quite scarce. We know we're living in a little bit of a scary time when it comes to careers and things that we need to get into. What plans can be put into place for students who are currently studying at tertiary institutions or at TVETs and things like that? What are some of the plans that they can put in place while they are busy studying? What can they do to better their chances when they are done with those particular studies?
I always say that as soon as you walk into tertiary, think of yourself as a brand. First year you're a brand. So think of, how do I brand myself in the particular profession that I want to get into? And the first thing that you can really do is, can I look at possible experiential work? And that could venture out into vocational work, because you don't want stuff that will interfere or infringe on your academic progress, but look at joining clubs and societies within your institutions. Those are essential skill set spaces that you can gain a lot of skill sets, a lot of attributes that employers are looking for. Getting into internships, getting to volunteer on your vacation and stuff like that. But also, it's very important for students to utilize. I know that institutions have work readiness programs. So programs that really speaks to the world of work. How do you position yourself as a student for this so ever-changing world of work? How do you brand yourself? With us, we have a journey to employability. We call it journey to employability, where we look at employment skills, we look at the job market. So utilize all those resources that's around you, and just ideally want to know what will set me apart from my peers.
Mm. And obviously networking, I think, would play quite an important role.
Definitely.
How much of a role do you think networking would play in relation to all of the other prep that you would do?
If we relate networking to what I've just spoken to, I will say, if you were to volunteer or work in a particular organization, you're obviously meeting your future boss. You're meeting your future colleagues in that sense. So that's where it initially starts. Also, utilizing social media. Young kids are always on social media these days, right? And when we're talking personal branding, we're not talking something so far-fetched. We're talking how you brand yourself. If we were to search you now, how would you come up? So basically linking up with the groups that you like. If you're on Facebook, if I want to get into psychology, I'm going to start following groups that speak to human beings, human wellness, because I'm branding myself and I'm associating myself with individuals in the same caliber as me. And you look at your LinkedIn, it's just looking at opportunities that are going to allow you to connect with people in the spaces that you would like to get into.
A lot of people, I think they kind of underestimate the LinkedIn area, the LinkedIn space. I think it is really, really something that is underrated, especially when it comes to going to a profession. I've seen people who go on there and it makes a world of difference just being on a platform like that, but obviously using it in a way that's gonna be professional and get you that professional stepping stone that you need it to be, right?
No, definitely. We say we don't really pay attention to it because we don't know the power of how, if should you optimize your LinkedIn, that will link you up with the recruiters, it will link you up with companies who are looking for individuals with your skill set. It's just, how do we optimize that space to work for us? How do we represent ourselves in those social media spaces? In a sense where it is in sync with the personal brand that I would optimally use if I'm presenting in a CV. It's still in sync with who I am and what is my digital footprinting. That is the most important. What is my digital footprinting when I'm getting into the spaces of social media?
Yes, absolutely. And I think they forget these things. We have our Facebook that has all of these crazy, crazy posts that we have, forgetting that employers now, especially at the technological age that we are at, the first thing they do is go hop onto your social media and start seeing exactly who you are. Because I can come into an interview and I'll sell you everything, sell you stars and everything, but the real person is there on your social media platforms. And I think this is where the mistake comes in, where we are posting, we are exposing ourselves ourselves to so many things that we forget that employers, potential employers, can be coming out there and looking at this just behind the screen, looking at you and understanding who you are purely by the things that you post on your social media. Yeah.
Definitely. And companies wouldn't want to associate themselves with an individual who can bring their brand to disrespute.
A
Disrespute, rather.
hundred
You
percent.
are a brand yourself, you're going to be joining that other brand. So really think yourself in that sense.
And there's a lot of well, I take a little issue with those who they go and they study, or they come straight out of matric, or whatever it is, or they gain that skill that they need, and suddenly they feel like, you know what, this is what I deserve, and this is the problem that I've seen in so many. No, I don't want to take that position because that's not what I studied for. I don't want to do that job because that's not what. However, we need to start somewhere. Nobody is saying if you are going into a certain career, you must then start off with something that's got nothing to do with it. However, how do you think the mindset should change of those who feel that because of the certain paperwork that they have, they are now entitled to a certain level or a certain position? What advice would you have for those?
I always say humble beginnings allow you to appreciate the journey even more when you're
Yeah.
sitting at the top. So it really starts there, where you value each opportunity as a learning space, a space for you to grow. I always say there's no wasted time. Even if it's not something in line with what I studied for, there are essential skills that I'm going to take away from there. There's essential learning that is happening that will groom you and prepare you for the role that is ahead of which is in line with what you studied for. So it's a matter of understanding how you can build opportunities. Make sure that these are just building blocks for you to reach wherever you want to go. And as sad as it is, we are faced with high unemployment rates. So we don't have the leisure of pick and choose at this point. We'll be trying to build our experience, build our exposure in the world of work. So grab each and every opportunity, because that really translates to a proactive person. So if recruiters or employers are looking at that, they understand that you've been proactive, you've been exposed to various work standard processes inside the world of work.
And how can someone make contact with the career development services that you guys offer?
Okay, so you can get to us by just reaching out via our email, info.ccdu@wits.ac.za. Ideally, if you would like to schedule an appointment with a career practitioner, you can do that. We also offer walk-ins. Ideally, you would call in on our reception just to find out walk-in slots that are available, and you can just walk in and engage with the counselor. Our number is 011-717-9140. We're always available and eager to assist. We also have a psychometric assessment for those who want to understand themselves better as they choose their subject. This is a broad offering. It really looks at what's ideal for you and allow you to make an informed decision in your subject choices.
Lindelwe, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you. I think this is such an important aspect to bring forward, and you really, really highlighted so many important points. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having me. All the best.
Have a fantastic day. Bye. That was career development practitioner at WITS, Lindelwe Cili. Don't forget, if you want to get into contact with them and use some of their services, 011-717-9140. The time is now 11:58. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going all the way to Morocco to speak on the E-Museum. Stay tuned.